Is the dream of affordable home ownership finally back on the table, or are we just watching another political theater performance in Washington? President Trump's signature housing bill has just cleared the House with an overwhelming bipartisan vote, effectively slapping the hand of a Senate that wanted things done their way. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you get the latest updates on these critical legislative battles. So, what exactly is going on here? On Wednesday, the House of Representatives delivered a major victory to the Trump administration. Lawmakers voted 396-13 to pass a sweeping housing measure aimed at boosting supply and making homes affordable again. This wasn't just a routine vote, it was a defiant move by House GOP leadership. For weeks, the Senate had been pressuring the House to adopt their own rival version of the bill without making a single change. The House decided they weren't having it. They amended the proposal to better align with the administration's goals, forcing the Senate to now reckon with a bill they didn't write. The White House has officially thrown its support behind the new House version, citing the specific changes that were made. But don't expect this to sail through the Senate without a fight. The Senate now faces a 60-vote threshold, and there is already bubbling frustration over the fact that the House tweaked the original language. Let's look at the core of the controversy. The original Senate-passed measure included a provision that would have essentially forced large investors to sell off single-family homes they currently own for rental purposes within 7 years. Critics hammered that idea, arguing it would gut the build-to-rent industry and actually hurt Americans who can't afford to buy right now. The House listened and struck that provision out. However, they kept the ban on institutional investors buying new single-family homes. This is a massive win for the Trump administration and, surprisingly, for progressives like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who have been pushing to level the playing field for individual, first-time homebuyers. But not everyone is celebrating. Even within the Republican Party, there was infighting. 13 members of the House Freedom Caucus voted against the bill. Why? It wasn't about the House, it was about a controversial provision regulating central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. These conservative privacy hawks are terrified that the bill's temporary ban on CBDCs is a trap. They argue that by setting an expiration date for the ban, the government is just laying the groundwork for a digital currency system after 2030. They want a permanent ban, or nothing at all, claiming a temporary fix is just a clear runway for future financial surveillance. So, what does this actually mean for you? If you've been feeling the squeeze of high interest rates and a lack of available housing, this bill is intended to be the solution. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Majority Leader Steve Scalise are framing this as a direct response to the cost of living crisis hitting families across the nation. They want to cut regulations and boost supply. But the political reality is messy. The Senate is annoyed, the Freedom Caucus is worried about digital privacy, and the clock is ticking toward the midterms. If this bill stalls, the GOP loses a major piece of their economic platform. If it passes, they get a massive win on affordability. The real question remains, will the Senate blink, or will they kill the bill to protect their original version? So what do you think about this? Is the House right to stand up to the Senate, or are they playing dangerous games with the housing market? And what's your take on that digital currency debate? Is the temporary ban a protection or a gateway to government overreach? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. This is a fast-moving story with huge implications for every American family. We are going to keep tracking every amendment and every vote as this heads back to the Senate floor. Stay tuned, because the battle for the housing market is far from over.